But for the moment, actually, we have two other guests joining us from the Motilal Oswal Annual Global Investors Conference. Two stalwarts from that broking house join us, Navin Agarwal, the CEO, Institutional Equities, and Rajat Radkaria, Managing Director, Institutional Equities. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. I mean, this is an impressive list of speakers that you all have put together at your investor conference. So just first, Navin, if you can take us through that, what was the theme, and tell us about the speakers that you are looking forward to.
Yeah, hi. So basically, this is the decadal year of our conference. This is the 10th year of the Motilal Oswal Annual Global Investor Conference. It has grown in size in terms of participation, both from the corporates as well as from investors year after year. This year we have over 100 Indian companies, 110 Indian companies, 225 company representatives from those 110 companies that are participating in the conference. On the investor side, we have about 180 funds, global as well as domestic funds who are participating in the conference. About 750 people representing these 180 funds who are participating in both the CEO track as well as one-to-one meetings.
Navin, is this also an indication that you get more companies and more funds? And 180 is quite a tally. Is this indicative because the markets are bullish?
A whole bunch of things. So the political change in May has actually brought in a lot more interest from international investors. So we have for the first time the tally of international investors crossed 100 mark. This is something that is unprecedented, and this is you should bear in mind the August season is the holiday season for the West, with a lot of the funds in the US and Europe actually being on holidays. This 100 plus number is notwithstanding the holiday season there. So the political change, the earnings upgrade cycle, the strong performance of the market, YTD we are up 25%, 12-month basis we are up 45%. This is one of the best performing markets in the world. I think all of these things have come together to create a big interest from the global investors and also from the local investors in the conference.
Navin, hi, good morning. In fact, you do talk to a lot of large clients and investors across the world. Has the mood gotten incrementally better post the election verdict?
Yeah, absolutely. But our interaction with investors suggests that there is a mixed bag of opinions. There are a whole bunch of investors who are global emerging market investors and who have participated in this rally over the last 12 months' time, when the Indian markets are up by nearly 50%, YTD they are up by nearly 25%. Those investors incrementally are actually taking money off the table, cutting their overweights on India, having made more money than they expected, having seen valuation re-rating bigger than they anticipated. On the other hand, you have India dedicated funds which are yet to start getting any meaningful inflows. A lot of marketing roadshows all over the world by these India dedicated funds are happening in our understanding. We are working with these clients in terms of their presentations, etc. And we are seeing a lot more marketing effort. We think that you should see a lot more flows from them. On the other hand, you have the index funds, exchange traded funds, the more active hedge funds. Many of these have become very active this year, the best that we've seen in terms of their activity in the last 5 years time frame.
Okay. Well, Rajat, let's get you into this picture. What was your initial conversation with these over 100 FIIs and 180 investors whom you have gathered? Is there an incremental positive now that crude is almost on a secular basis closer to the $100 mark?
Hi, good morning. Well, I think there are a couple of things which are just getting better for India on a moving basis. First is, of course, crude, which is now trading closer to its low, and that coinciding with the fact that the diesel under recoveries are almost zero, marks one of the biggest reforms in the last 1 decade for India for the oil and gas space. But I think two other things. First, the way RBI has managed the whole currency and the forex front over the last 9 months has inspired a lot of confidence for investors in the stability of the currency. And secondly, the GDP numbers also, which are going to be released later this week, are going to start showing momentum. We are expecting almost 80 to 90 basis point improvement over the March quarter. So I think many things are just beginning to fall in place, and this is just the first quarter of improvement, whether be it macro, whether be it corporate earnings, or whether be it valuations. We think investors are very clear that that this is a historical mandate, this is a 5-year mandate. We are starting this mandate with a 4.6% GDP growth when the potential of this country is much above 7% also. And we have the leadership at the top which can help us achieve this potential for us over this 5-year period. Be invested, get into the right sectors and stocks, and that is what this conference is all about.
That's an interesting point you brought out. Naveen, you have some very interesting speakers as well today. Nitin Gadkari, Union Minister of Road Transport, will be at your conference. Is that a sector, the infrastructure sector, a place where you're seeing a lot of institutional interest now?
Yeah, so the infrastructure sector as a whole has seen among the biggest amount of capital raising over the last 3 months. Some of these stocks have performed very well over the last 12 months time, and there's a lot of interest not just in the sector but also to hear from a senior cabinet minister in terms of how life is changing for the ministers, for the government, what is the big picture. So it's not just going to be surface transport, road transport, shipping or rural development that Mr. Gadkari will allude to, but also talk about what the government is really up to in terms of the changes that they are looking at over the coming years. So it will be a lot more macro in terms of what the government is doing besides his own sector.
Okay, Rajat, okay, let's do one thing. We'll take a break because we have plenty of sector-specific questions for both of you. Naveen and Rajat, we are back in a minute.
Hi, welcome back to the show. We have been in conversation with Naveen Agarwal, the CEO, Institutional Equities, and Rajat Rajgaria, the Managing Director, Institutional Equities of Motilal Oswal Securities. They are on the sidelines of the Motilal Global Investor Conference of 2014, and they are speaking to a whole host of corporates and investors. Rajat, a lot of brokerages have actually gone ahead and raised their Sensex EPS targets for the full year post the June quarter earnings. I know you have done so yourself. Where do you stand at in terms of the Sensex EPS for the end of the year, and what are the sectors that could actually lead it there?
Well, this year for FY15, we are looking at a 15% growth in the Sensex earnings at an aggregate level. But for FY16, which is going to be the first year of big recovery, we are estimating an earnings growth of 20%. Okay. I think the important point one needs to highlight is that the average growth rate for Indian corporate sector over a long period of time is 15%, but the 10-year 15% growth is divided between 5 years of 8% and 5 years of plus 20% growth. Oh. The last 6 years growth has been about 8%, and I think we are just at the first year of the beginning of a phase where the next 5-year growth could be north of 20%. Our team as an aggregate believes that the earnings upgrade cycle has just begun, so this is probably the first quarter where we have seen reasonably strong upgrades happening, and this is likely to continue for the many quarters to come as the macro gets better from here.
So in that case, what you're saying is we are on the cusp of moving from single digit to 20% growth, right? At such times, who takes leadership? Which are the kind of stocks? I would assume it would be cyclical. What are your best bets?
Well, I think while the ongoing structural stories like technology, pharma, consumer, they continue to grow in that same band of 15-20%. But the sectors which pull down this aggregate growth are the domestic cyclicals, whether be it financials, autos, capital goods, cement, telecom to some extent, and many of the oil PSUs. I think these are going to be the bunch of sectors which are going to drive this aggregate earnings growth, because some of these sectors from a zero or a negative growth environment of the last 2 years are likely to return to a 30-40% growth environment over the next 2 years. That is how the cycle plays for them in every phase.
Okay. Naveen, tell us about your best speakers. We know that Nitin Gadkari is speaking, but tell us who are your other prominent speakers, and as well, what are you, what was your thinking when you put in your speaker list?
So the interest in what the government will do is quite high. What the RBI, the central bank, will do is quite high, apart from some of the biggest companies in India. So we have Nitin Gadkari, the Union Cabinet Minister. Also we have the O&M Chief Digital Officer, who was the architect of the Modi campaign. So those are the two sessions where we talk about the government, how it was the whole campaign, as well as what the government plans to do. We have the RBI Deputy Governor, Mr. Mundra, who will be presenting on the outlook of the Indian financial sector. That is something that will be important as well, and quite sought after. We have a whole bunch of other thematic presentations on the infrastructure sector, on the financial services sector, on the industrial sector. Today, for instance, we have Mr. S.N. Subramanian, the member of board of L&T, who is going to present on the investment cycle in India. Rajat just spoke about how some of the capital goods or industrial companies should contribute to the acceleration in earnings growth. He is going to explain to us how this whole sector has been seeing a fall in order intake, fall in margins, increase in working capital cycle, and collapse of profitability in terms of the return ratios, whether we see any turnaround in some of those numbers. We have from the telecom sector both Bharti and Idea CEOs who are presenting. Here again, we are quite positive in terms of the change in the revenues per minute, the potential explosion in data revenues, all going to drive profitability going forward for the telecom sector in India. We have Mr. Aditya Puri from the financial sector, who's presenting at the conference. We have Pawan Munjal from Hero MotoCorp. He is debuting for the first time speaking at a conference. We have Vedanta CEO Tom Albanese, who will be presenting today. So it's a whole long list of 20 presentations over the next 2 days, August 25, 26, that we have these speakers presenting. But the important thing was to get a sense of what the government is doing, what RBI is doing, what's likely to happen with some of the 5 key themes that we like, which is financials, industrials, consumer discretionary, the state-owned companies, and then a whole bunch of mid-cap meetings that we're doing as well.
Okay, we would keenly be watching for the takeaways from all of these discussions, Naveen. But I know the market momentum is extremely gung-ho right now. But in your sense, what is the one big risk that could perhaps derail this market going ahead?
Well, just a month ago, when we had a deluge of capital raising with a whole bunch of highly stressed, broken balance sheets, which were looking to quickly recapitalize, that was perceived as one risk. Now what the Fed will do is perceived as another risk. Those are the couple of issues, but I think the excitement about the earnings upgrade cycle, the economic recovery, the investment cycle, the potential correction in interest rates maybe later in the year or maybe early next year, I think there are very many tailwinds to this market. And while there are always headwinds like capital raising, like the global interest rate cycle, we believe that the positives clearly overwhelm the negatives at this point in time, and hence that positive risk reward is what is attracting a lot more investor interest, both global as well as local.
Yeah, actually, I was going to pick on the last theme that you mentioned, mid-caps. Rajat, come in on that note. This market is now kind of feeding into a frenzy on the mid-cap space. What are the stocks that you all are looking at with interest?
Well, in the mid-caps, we have been ramping our coverage significantly over the last 12 to 18 months, because we think at the bottom of this growth cycle there are going to be a whole bunch of companies which are few are going to be better and few are going to be bigger. So if you look at the spaces from many of the private sector banks, NBFCs, commercial vehicle companies, auto component names, cement companies, some of the infrastructure names, and some of the companies which are basically preparing themselves for a big up move as far as their business plans are concerned. Companies like Irwin Mills, Cox and Kings, Kaveri Seeds, even some of the new coverages in the pharma and the IT space that we have done. I think there are whole bunch of mid caps which are looking exciting across the pack. We are at the beginning of this big upcycle as far as the corporate earnings growth is concerned. We think that the rates have peaked as far as leverage is concerned. These two things always help mid caps very well, and being the first quarter of crossing a 5% plus GDP growth, many of these mid caps have a lot of potential to offer great returns from here.
Okay, from the large cap space, Rajat, you have Hindalco as one of your top picks. Today we might have the Supreme Court ruling on the coal block allocations. How do you think that ruling could impact a company like Hindalco?
Especially if the coal block is not given.
Well, I think we have seen many twists and turns as far as these coal blocks are concerned over the last 3-4 years. But the basic thesis of Hindalco is that first, Novelis is entering into a very sweet spot of growing their volumes. The cash flows that they are likely to generate is going to aid Hindalco significantly. Second, as far as the domestic business is concerned, Hindalco has already commissioned a large capex which they are almost completed now, and the commissioning of those capacities is not just going to ramp up volumes but also going to help deleverage the balance sheet and improve the cash flow significantly. So within the metal pack, our view on aluminium is positive, our view on Novelis is positive, and we think that the entire cash flow at the group level is going to lead to a significant re-rating for this stock. The stock has anyways done well over the last 12 to 18 months, but it has lot more room to catch up from here.
All right, gentlemen, we'll let you go back. It's 9 a.m. and I guess your guests will start arriving and we shouldn't hold you back anymore. Thank you very much. We hope we will be able to chat with you once again after the conference, and you can fill us in on the key takeaways from this very interesting list of guests that you have, and many of whom we haven't yet heard. I mean, we haven't heard Tom Albanese, or at least the Indian audience hasn't heard. So we will look forward to what you gather from the conference with interest. Let us also take a break. We are going to be back with the pre-opening rates. We will also have Hemant Takra